guys, how are we doing? Hope you're really good. So we're going to get into what's called the relationship theory, okay? And it's probably nothing like what you think, right? We're not going into relationships. But if you are somebody that is struggling to connect with their purpose, their mission, their direction, showing up and achieving their potential, then this video is going to be ideal for you to understand why it's not happening, but also understand how to make it happen. So without further ado, let's crack on. Welcome to the Rise to Thrive show. I'm your host, James Boardman, and if you are coming through, then please do let me know, just by either dropping a like, dropping a comment that you're watching. Let me know also if you struggle with disconnect in your journey. So like on the process, do you disconnect with trying to get fit, with building a career, with trying to build your relationships, with your own personal development? All right, so it's Friday. Everybody hopefully is happy because it's Friday. So let's get stuck into it, all right? And this is something that I shared with my Elite Brotherhood coaching group on Tuesday night. And a lot of them, it clicked for a lot of them. So I really hope that it clicks for you. Now, those guys are on a structured process with us. And that structured process has steps and has systems and has routines that allows them to follow a process. Now, if you're not doing that, what we have to do is kind of think, right, let's think about your routine right now, your process right now, and what you're doing and how you can make it better, okay? So, and if you want help building a structure, then the details of how you can do that is down in below in the bio. So, two different models, okay? We've got model A and then model B. And what these represent is the funnel of your process, okay? So A is where we start, here, this side, and this side is what we're trying to achieve. Now, when we're trying to achieve, or what we're trying to achieve, is we're trying to achieve a higher standard of showing up, okay? So what that means is that we want to reach goals that we think are not possible right now. So we want to put ourselves in a position where we can go, I am conditioned now, mentally, emotionally, and physically, to be able to achieve those goals that I never thought I'd be able to. So like getting a new job, building a new relationship, getting toned, running for an ultra marathon, but we've got to build the process to get there, right? And there are two different processes. And the relationship theory comes in is that whenever I talk about making a relationship work, now you've all been in a relationship, okay? And to make that relationship work, there has to be lots of communication and understanding and lots of touch points. I don't mean physical touch, but I mean lots of connection touches. Because when a relationship pulls apart and ends up separating and you end up not working, it's because you disconnect. You disconnect on your values, you disconnect on your beliefs, you disconnect on the things you do together, and you don't build together, you build separately. So you end up going like this and you separate. And it's the same process. This relationship theory is the same process when it comes to you reaching the top of your game and achieving all the things that you think you can't achieve at the minute. Becoming the elite operator, becoming a high performer, becoming structured, having routine, building systems, okay? If we don't connect with it, like the relationship, it fades away and you slip into this bubble of complacency or burying your head in the sand or self-pity or uncontrollable emotions, shall we say. Does that make sense to everybody? So what we're going through is we're understanding that to make a relationship work, we need lots of dots. When there's not lots of dots or lots of connections, we disconnect. And it's the same with the process to get to where we want to be. So let's look at model A. So if we look at model A, this is the start, this is the end. But when we look, there's only a couple of touch points. So what I was saying to my guys in the Brotherhood is that if you're not doing your morning accountability every single morning, which is what we ask them to do, is like, do your morning accountability every morning, show up for yourself, do what you said you were going to do. It keeps you connected to the mission, the process, the outcomes, the standard, the discipline, all of the things that make us better human beings, okay? Higher level. Then we do our weekly plans, then we do our midweek check-ins, then we do one person accountability a week, then we check our training and we're making sure that we're studying, we're building our skill set, we're building our personal and professional development so that we understand what's required of us and how to get to that journey. If we disconnect from this, we're going to end up with heartbreak, okay? We're going to end up with heartbreak. We're going to end up separated from that process, okay? And that's not what we want. And that's not what we want, okay? We want to make sure that we're connected. So look at all of these dots here. These are all touching points that keep us connected. There's nowhere near the amount of gaps going on. So that means that we're showing up all the time. Every single day we're showing up when we're doing something that keeps you connected to the process, okay? So what we end up doing is we end up building a momentum loop, okay? A momentum loop. So when we get to the end here, we become that elite operator. Now, if you think about the name of our company, the Elite Movement, this is the movement. And this is the elite movement because it puts us on a trajectory of success with all of these touch points that are right here, okay? This is an average movement, a mediocre movement, which means that you're only ever going to get average or below average mediocre results. And that brings an awful amount of pain and suffering and overthinking. So this leads to what I call the cycle of chaos. Okay, and this is a typical process that someone will go through when they are starting to work on themselves. So when we go around here, we're working on ourselves, okay? So things are up, okay? Here, which means that we're on B. So a classic example of you going through B is New Year's Eve, okay? Is after the summer holidays. It's every Monday morning, okay? But then what ends up happening is we disconnect here and we go back to model A because you're not conditioned or trained to make sure that you're staying afloat, to make sure you're staying connected to the process to achieve the outcome that you want to achieve. And when it gets to this point here, when it's tough, when we transition from B to A, it's because we don't have accountability, we don't have community, we don't have self-education to get us to the place that we need to be. But you ignore that and you end up going, I'm too busy, I've got this to do, I've got that to do, I don't have time to be doing this, I don't have time to be doing that. And the consequences are you have to live with that pain and suffering that you're going through, okay? So I wanted to show you this process here. I wanted to show you what it takes to connect, why we disconnect, okay, and what it ends up looking like, all right, when we follow that disconnect. I tell you what, the wins when you follow this here and you get to the very end and you've connected and you've reached your goal, man, life becomes a lot better. Life becomes a lot better. But so many people end up on this. Even when they're working with us, they just disappear and they go straight back to where they started and they've wasted all of the hard work that they've put on themselves. It's crazy. It's crazy. Anyway, listen, have an amazing weekend. Let me know what you thought of this show. In the comments below, please just drop your number one takeaway once I've hung up, and I will see you Monday, 5:30, ready to go, rise to thrive. Let's do it.